Best of R / Tales from Retail episode 35. My friend T, who does not have Reddit, hence the post by proxy, works at a trendy Canadian women's clothing store, and like all retail places had to deal with some real gems of customers. She sent a snap to our mutual friend about this glorious specimen. This is more or less verbatim, but it is translated from French so some things might be lost in translation. For context, the changing cabins at her store require your first name to write on the board hanging outside, to better personalize your shopping experience I guess. Anyway, T asks this lady's name and she got so offended, saying no, I will not give you my name. I find it unacceptable for you to ask for my name. What if somebody nearby overhears it? How dare you ask me for it? My friend was like lol what but, on commission and not a jerk, didn't argue with her. When she gets to the cash after helping the woman, T asks her, would you like a bag madam? They're 10 cents each. This lady once again gets up in arms and says, store name is rich. It's disgusting for them to make us pay for bags when they are a rich company. T just answers back, it's for the environment. The lady scoffs and replies, I don't believe you. She then proceeded to list off all the reptiles she knows and no, none of us can understand where that came from either. Mind, she was still at the cash with, other customers behind her, and T did not know what to do with this nut for the life of her, so just did nothing and waited for her to talk herself out. By closing she was still naming reptiles, and they had to bring out the keys and not so subtly start closing the gates for her to get the hint, or she wasn't going to stop. All in all, one for the books. Thank you. Next. For those who don't know Challenge 25, it's basically a system where cashiers judge if you're under 25 and if you are we have to ask for it on age restricted products. This part of the rule is easy to understand but it's the other part of it that sets these customers off. If you are an older person accompanied with someone who is under 25 and it's the younger person who places the age restricted product down on the counter, we have to assume that they're buying it or you're trying to buy something age restricted for a minor. So for our first customer, who is an elderly woman with what seems to be her grandson, she gets frustrated when we refuse to sell her an age restricted product because her grandson was the one to place it on the counter. Obviously I can understand her frustration because we can't expect any customer to understand all the rules of Challenge 25. However, what I did expect was for her to be understanding and to just leave the item for another day where she can buy it on her own, but number. She thinks that by taking back the item and placing it back on the counter herself it counteracts Challenge 25. Older customer, see, I've placed it now so that means I can buy it. No lady, it doesn't. Me. I'm sorry, but since I saw your grandson place the item first, we have to assume it's him who's buying it. At this point the older customer just complained some more and just leaves the item and buys whatever else she had. For our next customer, it's a mother with her 3 kids. Similar sort of deal. This time it's one of her children who places knives on the counter. I didn't serve her the first time but another cashier did, and I didn't know this when she came back an hour later trying to buy more knives and wanting the knives we had taken from her previously. Most of the stuff we have behind the tills is ready to go back out, so it's perfectly fine if someone wants something from behind us. I comply and I go to grab the knives until the cashier who handled her previously stops me and confronts the customer saying she isn't allowed the knives since we already told her she couldn't have them. What this lady did different from last time was she left her kids outside while she tried to buy them herself with a different cashier, me, who unaware to what had happened to her an hour before. So this lady, being rustled again, shoves the knives across the counter and storms off in a huff. Moral of this story: Challenge 25 is the bane of the customers and my existence. Thank you. Next. I was working at a popular big box electronics store with a well-known tech services and support department, and I had a client who was an older woman, probably 75 plus, with an old laptop. No, this is not some kind of joke. It was probably 12-14 years old. It was busted 6 ways from Sunday, dead battery, charging port that you had to really work at to get it seated so it would get power. One hinge was totally wrecked, the CD drive was missing its faceplate. The drive tray itself was bent, the screen was cracked, and the bezel was being held on by tape. I mean, this laptop had done its tour of duty 3 times over. Anyway, she was emphatic about getting the screen repaired. but it was one of those situations where it would literally cost more than I could convince myself to tell the client it was worth. So I did something that 99% of the time you do not do in computer retail, and I asked what was so important about this particular computer. Well, it turns out her great-granddaughter had died 3 years prior and the only pictures she had of her were on that computer, and no one had ever told her that it was possible to move the pictures to something that wasn't on improvised life support. So she was afraid of losing the pictures of her great-granddaughter. So I worked with her for a few more minutes to get an idea of what she used her computer for, little bit of online shopping and some email, then grabbed one of the PC sales team I knew and trusted, gave her the rundown on the lady in the situation and asked her to find her a good option for a replacement computer, get her signed up for a data transfer, include a 32GB flash drive, then come back to me, got her set up with a new laptop, transferred all the files from her old computer to the new computer and the flash drive, and signed her up for a one-on-one training session so I could help her to learn how to use the new computer, the flash drive, and get her set up with OneDrive so she wouldn't need to worry about losing her pictures. After it was all said and done, she was so grateful for the help and service that she tried to hand me $50. I couldn't take it for multiple reasons, but mostly because it was my job to help people with their computer problems and find solutions to their technological needs, and that was exactly what I had done. I didn't feel I had done anything above and beyond my job. Well, she insisted on knowing what she could do to thank me. Jokingly, I said, "Well, we love chocolate chip cookies." She smiled, said okay and left. I figured that was it. I came in for my shift the next day to find that she had dropped off what looked like a baker's gross worth of homemade chocolate chip cookies. Cookies make the best tips. Thank you. Next. If this is not allowed and I have misunderstood the rules, please feel free to remove, and I apologize. So this happened yesterday while I was working. I was on tills at a local store. As a note, I do look quite young for my age. I am 20 but have told I look as young as 10. I was also wearing an oversized jacket as I had left mine at home and I was cold, so a co-worker gave a loan of theirs. As I was serving a man, the following exchange happened. Me, "Is that everything for you today?" Man, whispering, "Are you okay?" Me, "I'm alright thank you, and how are you today?" Him, "Are you a slave?" Me, "What?" Him, "Do you get paid?" Me, "Yes sir, I get paid." Him, "Oh good. You never know with child slavery nowadays." Pays for his items and walks out. Now he may have been drunk. In fact I assume he was, but my nose was blocked from a cold so I couldn't smell alcohol. It was a weird day. Thank you. Next. Obligatory. This is a story from back when I worked at, now failed, small electronics store in a downtown area. I got this kind of interaction quite often, but this was the most entertaining of them. Me equals me, Q equals customer. On this day I was on the sales floor, and a couple of teenage girls walk into the store. Q, "Hi, do you guys have any HDMI cables?" Me, of course, walks her over to the video cables. "How long do you need?" Q, "About X featuring." Say, "Are these the only HDMI cables you have?" Me, "Yep, I'm afraid so. The cheapest one was $15 for a 3FT. Q, "You know, I could get these much cheaper online." Me, "You absolutely could." Q, "So can you make it any cheaper for me?" Me, "I can give you a 10% student discount, but honestly that's the best I can do." Q, "But I've seen HDMI cables X length for $10 online." Me, "That's a pretty good price. Why didn't you get it online?" Q, "Because I'd have to wait a couple of days to get it and I need it now." Me, "Oh, yeah, I understand. I hate it when that happens." Q, "Why are these ones so expensive?" Me, "Because that's how we make money." Q, "I guess I'll just have to get it elsewhere." Me, "I mean, I thought you needed it now." Glare. She grabs the HDMI cable and buys it from me without another word and with the deepest, most cutting glare I have ever seen. TL. "Doctor, you pay more because you need it now. Thank you." Next. My store doesn't give out a lot of coupons, but the ones we do give are very popular with the people who receive them. However, I've noticed something kind of weird about several of these people. The coupons are usually sent to email, and they get upset when they try to use the coupons a second time only to have the system reject them. Each coupon has a unique barcode, so the computer knows when they've been redeemed. Occasionally they will receive a physical coupon in the mail. Physical coupons have to be surrendered. Oh, but I wanted to keep it and use it again. No? Is this a thing? Since when can coupons be kept and used more than once? I have never had a coupon that was good for more than a single use. Are there stores that do this? Or do I just keep running into confused individuals who don't understand how coupons work? Thank you. Next. This one happened yesterday. I work retail in a mall, mostly during the holidays, or if the customers asks, we give them a gift receipt with their regular receipt that acts like a normal receipt, but if you do a return it'll only be for store credit. Things is, Boxing Day and the day after Boxing Day we don't do returns or exchanges. We also have signs placed in the store so customers can see that. Our lady of the story walks in looking like she already has a bone to pick. See, hi, I bought this a few weeks ago and didn't know I already had the same thing, so I want to return it. Me, sorry, we can't do any returns or exchanges today. See, then I don't want to return it, I'll just do an exchange. Me, we can't do either. I point at the sign that says the days we can't do returns or exchanges. See, well, what am I supposed to do with it? Me, you can come back tomorrow and we can return or exchange it then. Do you have your receipt? See, no, you need your receipt to return it. Me, yes you do. It isn't something we can pull up in our system, so without the receipt there's nothing we can do. See, where does it say you need the receipt to return stuff? That's stupid. Me, right here, point behind me to the sign that says you need a receipt. See, you need to put that in a place customers can see it. Me, oh, we do point to the sign in front of her that says the same thing, and it also says the same thing on the back of the receipt. She then gets angry and leaves in a huff, saying the classic line, "I'll never shop here again." Turns out she was only in here once to buy the item she wanted to return later on. I don't know what it is about the holidays, but it either brings out the best people or the underbelly of society.